Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? I hope that you are well. This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. I hope that you're in the right place. If you are going through the trauma of being cheated on, you've been cheated on by somebody that you love and you care about, but you want to stick it out. You want to work this relationship out. You want to carry forward. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You love the person that you love and you want to move forward with them. That's not out of the ordinary. That's not a strange thing to want. You just happen to love someone who is imperfect, as we all are. And so we have to figure out how to get past that, how to get past that trauma, how to get past dealing with what they have done and try to move forward into a better relationship. So I am here to talk to you about that. There we go. Get my light right there. So if you're here with me now or you're on the replay, let me know. Give me some likes, give me some love. Say, hey, what are you doing today? What are you up to? Let me know what's going on with you as you are on the healing path going forward today. Let me make sure I can see everything. All right. I can see it all. Lovely. So, we are always going to start off with the same exact things. We're going to start off just the same as we always do, which is with your deep breathing and your journaling. Have you been doing your deep breathing? Have you been doing your journaling? Oh, 1 second. Let me look here. If you have not been doing these things, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to be doing something to start to control this panic reaction, this traumatic reaction that you are having to such a painful thing happening to you. It is absolutely normal for you to feel traumatized. Hey, Quisha. The baby said, hey, baby. Tell her I said hi. I am excited to talk to you about getting your journaling done, getting your deep breathing done, because those are things that you can control. Those are things when you are in an out of control situation, you need to find as many things to control as you possibly can that are healthy for you to control, things that are about you that you can control. So if you are trying to heal from this, starting off with your deep breathing, starting off with your journaling is a very simple way to start that is going to help you to start to heal. All right. I forgot to say that I'm live for everybody. All right. Just had to say that I'm here. I am here. Come to the Love After Cheating group if you are in it. If you are on Instagram, absolutely love y'all. And YouTube, I'm also streaming to live. So if you are on any of those, come join me. I absolutely love talking to you. All right, let me see. I got everything good. All right. So, doing your deep breathing and doing your journaling. Your deep breathing is going to help because when you're anxious, when you're traumatized, your breathing actually changes. Your brain goes into a kind of a fight or flight autopilot mode, and it will change the way that you breathe. And it will change the way you breathe because it is changing the way that your blood is flowing around your body. When you take back control of the way that you are breathing, you are telling your brain, no, I do not need the panic blood flow. I need the regular blood flow. I do not need to be ready to fight or ready to run. I am with the person that I love, that I want to be calm and cool and collected with. So I don't need all that. I need to calm down. I need to center. So what we do is 4-7-8 breathing. What we do is we blow out and then we just deflate our lungs. Try and get as much out of your lungs as you possibly can. You're gonna inhale through your nose if you can. If you can't, I got allergies. I understand. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. You're gonna hold that breath for a count of 7, and then you're going to blow out like you're blowing out birthday candles for a count of 8. It's something that you can control. It's something simple. It will calm you down. It will make you feel better. It will center you. It will help you with your sleep. It will help you with being able to eat because you are getting yourself out of that panic reaction mode and getting back into regular mode. And so then you're able to eat and sleep and do all of the things a whole lot better. So if you are here with me today, let me see. Can I see anybody here? You can say hey. over here on Facebook. Oh, Beth. Hello. Hi. How are you doing, Beth? Glad you're here. Gonna do the deep breathing with me. We're gonna do it together. Gonna do it as a unit, all right? So gonna blow out and make the noise when you blow out. We want to hear the sound when you're blowing out because that is also a trigger. We have bad triggers that happen to us all the time, right? But you can create good triggers. You can create sounds and sensory input that tell you that good things are happening instead of that bad things are happening. So that is one simple way that you can create a good trigger. Hey there, Allie. Hi, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. But that is one way to create a good trigger is to make that sound of your breath whooshing. That means I am in control. I am all right. I want to calm myself. I want to center myself. I do not want to flip out right now. And that is telling your brain that gives that trigger. And so then later on, if you fall into doing your deep breathing on a regular basis, you are consistently telling your brain that message. And so then your brain will listen to you. It's like every time she does this, she is calming herself down. She is chilling. We are going to believe that that's what we're supposed to be doing right now. So the more you practice it, the more effective it is. All right. So we're going to do it 3 times together, but I want you to be doing this 5 times a day. If you are doing it 5 times a day, let me know. Tell me something in the comments. Let me know that you are doing this consistently and tell me how it's working for you because it should be working. You should be feeling pretty good if you're doing your deep breathing on a regular basis. What we're doing is trying to get that anxiety and that stress level from way up here and bring it down to a more manageable level. As we're doing the deep breathing every day, 5 times a day, it's pulling that anxiety level down to an area that we can actually handle it instead of being way above our heads and too intense for us to deal with. All right. So we need to be doing your deep breathing. We are going to do it all together. Join me now. We're going to blow out. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How do you feel when you're doing that deep breathing? Isn't it luxurious? Don't you feel good? Get a little clear-headed. You may even get a little tingly because all of a sudden you're getting oxygen to your body and you haven't been doing that deep breathing yet. And so all of a sudden you are more alert. You might yawn. You might feel a little tired if you do the deep breathing also because you're giving yourself that oxygen into your brain and your brain has been going without it. So it may be a little tired when you first get all that oxygen going. Let me know how you feel when you do the deep breathing. It should be a change. There should be something physically changing with you because this is not just a mental thing that's going on. You have been through this pain, you have been through this trauma, and trauma manifests itself physically. So we need to do something about the physical part of it if we want to handle the mental part of it. All right. All right. So the next thing, of course, is doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? Have you been sitting down and giving yourself at least 5 minutes in the morning when you first get up, when you're trying to plan your day, when you're thinking about things, how they're going to go today? Sit down with your journal. Journal for about 5 minutes. Plan your day. Plan what you want to feel like today. That is a very important thing. I remember I tell you the decision is super important to your healing. You have to make decisions every single solitary day in favor of healing. So if you sit down with your journal first thing in the morning and you write down, I am going to behave like a healed person today in X, Y, and Z manner, you will have that guideline all for the rest of the day. You can always remember, well, wait a minute, I said earlier today that I was going to do X to show that I am healed today. Let me go ahead and do that in this situation. You will have that as a guideline every day. Then in the evening, before you go to bed, get some of that stuff out of your head, get it out of your brain for a little while. Let it be able to be on the page. When you are taking it out of your brain and putting it down onto paper, you are telling your brain it's okay to let go of it. I have written it down. It is in permanent copy. I have written it right here. It will not disappear tomorrow. We will not forget about it. It is right there. Let us move on and be able to go to sleep tonight and rest. And then we'll deal with that tomorrow. You are able to clear your head a little bit, get to the point where you are not feeling like you have to constantly be thinking about it, constantly be dreaming about it, constantly be obsessing over it. You can let some of that stuff go in your journal. For your journaling, always remember, do your date, do your time. That is so that you have data. You can tell when these things happen. There may be a time of day that you have triggers. There may be a day of the week you have triggers. There may be a time of the month you have triggers. You will know that if you are consistently writing down what's happening with you and writing your dates and your times, because you can just go back and flip through and be like, oh, hey, every day at 8:19 p.m., I am starting to feel a little anxious. I'm starting to feel a little some kind of way. Who knew? You will know if you write it down. All right. And then there's the anxiety scale. You want to do 0 to 10. 0 is gold star day. 0 is nothing is wrong. You're not anxious. All is right with the world. Then there is a 10. A 10, oh my goodness. A 10 is a loss of control. A 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. That is a 10. We are out of control at a 10. So chances are you're not sitting down at your journal and journaling at a 10. If you are sitting down at your journal, congratulate yourself. You have not reached a 10 just yet. You may be climbing, but you are not quite there. When you are at that loss of control, you're not going to want to sit down and do anything. You're going to be ready to run screaming down the street naked. So, giving yourself that 0 to 10 scale puts a fence around these feelings. These feelings can only get a 10 big. That's as big as they can get. They cannot get to 100. They cannot get to 1,000,000. They can only get to a 10. That's as big as they can ever get. And you can keep that contained. If it's only going from 0 to 10, you can keep that contained. That is not saying that you are just going to be out of control every day. You can maintain if you know that you can't get any worse than a 10. All right. So be doing that. Put gold stars on your days when you're having excellent days. Make sure that you are not acknowledging that and putting it somewhere prominently on the page. If you can put it in the like top corner so that when you flip through, you can see those dates that you've had good days. You want to remind yourself of the good times because trauma will make you feel like nothing good ever happens to you. Everything is terrible, your life is horrible, and you should just never expect anything good, which is not true. Trauma will lie to you. So if you have that written down, if you have a gold star on your page, if you have smiles and hearts and whatever it is that you put down to denote that you are having an excellent day, then you can prove to your brain that it's lying. And then when you prove that it's lying, you can come back and fight against some of those terribly negative thoughts that you have, that fear speech that goes around in your head. All right. So those two things are always, and I have like a whole desk full of journals. Look at this. You can choose anything. You can choose any kind of journal you want. It does not matter. Just get yourself a journal, sit down and write in it twice a day. Give yourself 5 minutes of self-care time. You deserve it. You didn't do anything wrong. You deserve to have at least 10 minutes of self-care time a day. You deserve it. All right. Let's see what else. All right. So, other things that you can control. That's always a good thing to know because that's one of those things that your brain will tell you you are completely out of control. You didn't have any say in this. You are just traumatized beyond belief, and nothing is in your control anymore. You are just out here in the world. You have no power. And I don't believe that you really have no power. People will steadily believe that if they're in that traumatic state of mind. You will feel like that is the truth, but it is not. You have power over lots of things, and the best thing you have power over is to be grateful, is to be happy about the things that you do have. Now, of course, bad things will happen. That's not out of the ordinary for life, okay? But if you are steadily counting the good things in your life instead of focusing on the bad things, you kind of steer yourself away from bad and towards good. So we need to be doing that on a consistent basis. And that's why I do Thirsty Thursday every week. I want to hear the good stuff that happens to you in your lives. I want a place where you can sit there and write it down, and you will have that reference to show you that not everything is bad. Last Thirsty Thursday, I had something good to say. So at least last week it was all right. Things were okay. I can make it a good week again. It is possible. So oh, my wonderful people. Oh, I love to hear the good news on Thirsty Thursday. Let's see what we got. Lou said, and this is a good one. She said, I asked my husband if he can be a little more touchy with me last Sunday. For my surprise, he's been hugging for longer stretches, kissing me more, holding my hand, caressing my face, you name it. It seriously boosts my mood. Yes, it absolutely does. That's another thing you have control over, that physical touch. That does actually boost your mood. You are changing your hormones. When you are this stressed out and this traumatized, your stress hormones are high. So if you activate other hormones by being close to your honey, kissing your honey, hugging your honey, being having that physical skin to skin contact, when you do that, guess what? You are activating other hormones and they counteract those stress hormones. So your stress goes way, way down. You're feeling good. You're feeling loving. You're feeling open. Excellent, Lou. I am so glad that you asked for it, number one, and that he's given it to you and that you're accepting it. I know it's very easy to get caught up in, I asked for it, but I'm still kind of mad at you, so I don't really want to receive it. But just being open enough to receive it, that in and of itself is a decision and a very good step. So I'm very proud of you. Good job, Lou. Good job. All right. And then Carrie said, my husband is coming out of his funk finally and being very loving and reassuring. Carrie, that is fantastic. It is so good when they come out of it, when they break free of the moment. Was he in limerence? Is that what it was? They get all caught up in their feelings. Men get very caught up in this whole idea of, oh, I fell in love. They think that that's what it is because the same hormones are activated when you're starting an affair as when you first fall in love. You get that hit of dopamine, you get that serotonin pumping. You're feeling good, got some endorphins going, got that adrenaline pumping because you're doing something dangerous that could be a problem. So you got all of those chemicals cooking in your body, and so then they think that that's real love. They think that that's real. They think that that's a genuine thing, and then they get caught up in the limerence, and so then they're in a funk after they have to give up the source of that dopamine hit, that source of hormones that they were getting. And that's really all that it is. It's just the hormones are kicking in and they feel good because of the hormones. And so they don't want that to end. And so they get to be kind of jerky at the end of their affairs. But I am very glad that he is out of his funk. He is feeling pretty good. He is doing what he is supposed to be doing because, Gary, he absolutely should be treating you well because you were out here doing your best to unconditionally love him in spite of his stupidity. So very good. I am very proud of you and I'm excited for you. I'm excited that things are going well. I always like it when things are going well. Now, I do warn people when things are going well, just remember that you are more likely to be sensitive to things going wrong then. You're going to feel like it's easier for things to go bad. Just be aware of that. If you are letting those walls down, your brain doesn't like that. Your brain and your trauma does not like that you are letting down some walls and letting him get closer to you again, okay? It's going to be a little frustrated with you, and so it's going to try and make things bad again. Just recognize that. Understand that, oh, things have been good, so my brain is trying to mess with me right now. Don't fall for it. That's all. That's like the best I can give you. Advice I can give you about that is don't fall for it when your brain is telling you, everything is so terrible, but you know for sure everything has been good. Tell your brain, no, that is not what is real. That is not what has been happening. We have been having a very good time together. Things have been okay. And I need you to calm down. I understand you're trying to protect me, but no, I am not going to be listening to you about that today. And you can say it out loud if you need to. You can talk to your brain like it's an errant child if you need to, because if you don't, a lot of the time it'll just keep on talking to you. So go ahead and speak on it. Tell your brain what you want it to do, and then focus in that direction. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything going on? Let me see. Don't see any other comments. Okay, Allie said only doctors can have folks running around yelling at their brains. Hey, if it works, it works. And I'm pretty good at having people run around yelling at their brains. I'm pretty good at it, but it works though. That's the whole thing. Your brain will listen to what you tell it. You just have to be active about telling your brain that process, that thought process of all those negative thoughts, that's not actually your consciousness. That is a fear-based, like, base brain type of reaction. That's not your real consciousness. Your real consciousness is the one that's listening to all that, is hearing your brain say all that terrible stuff. So if you want to activate your consciousness and tell your unconscious, hey, calm down, that is appropriate, because your brain will listen to whatever you tell it to do. You just got to know that you can tell it. You can talk to it. You can tell it what to do. If you don't tell it, you're not directing it. You are just letting those base thoughts, those fearful thoughts, just run amok and say whatever they want. And then your brain is listening to it. Your brain is like, oh, okay, I guess that's the reality of the situation. And it's not. All right. All right. So another good thing that you can have control over, I know lots and lots of people always want to talk about the trauma. You always want to talk about what he did. You want to talk about the positions they were in. What type of conversation did they have? Did he tell her he loved her? I know you want to ask all those questions. I'm telling you, please, if you are catching me in the very early stages, do not ask those questions. You do not need those questions answered in your brain. Your brain will use them against you. I know that your brain is screaming at you. You need to have the answers to these questions, or else you will not be able to hear again or heal. That is a lie. That is another lie that your brain is telling you. You can heal just fine without hearing all the awful details that will give you nightmares and have you stuck for days later. You don't need all of that. You do not need that extra weight on your shoulders. You already understand what has happened here. You do not need all the down and dirty details. Okay. Your brain is telling you that because it wants to collect as much information as it possibly can to try and keep you safe. Well, when it collects all that information, guess what it does to try and keep you safe? It hurls those facts right at your face every time you start to let your guard down. Every time you start to get a little bit closer, it hurls another factoid that you have collected right into your face, and so that you can't avoid it. And then you every single time you get close, you want to throw that wall back up. So instead of doing that, ask some positive questions. This is the healing edition from theskindeep.com. Excellent card game. Allie, I think you said you had this deck. It is a wonderful game to play together. You sit down, you deal out some cards. Allie, so you done that? You deal out some cards to each other. You sit there, you look at each other, and you answer each other earnestly about the questions. Now, you can earn the right not to answer the question. I think it's like you have to look into the other person's eyes for like 5 whole seconds, and then you say, okay, I am not going to answer that question. I pass. You have the option to pass, but a lot of these are really good questions that won't start an argument, won't make you feel all some kind of way. You'll feel pretty good about asking them and answering them. All right. So let me give you examples. Says, where would you say our relationship began, and where do you think it may end? That's a good question. That's a good one. You say you need to get the old people's deck, Allie. Where would you say our relationship began, and where do you think it will end? Where would you say our relationship began, and where do you think it will end? That's an interesting question. You know, our relationship began on the phone. We were on the chat line. We found one another, and that's where it all started. That was like hours of conversation at the end of the conversation. He was like, so if you're really the way you say you are you going to marry me or what? And I was like, if you're really the way you say you are, pick a date. So, that's the way our whole thing began. This one says, what is one thing you never want me to forget about you? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Imagine if you got that. What's one thing you never want them to forget about you? What is one thing you think your honey would like you to never forget about them? That's a really good one. All right. And then one more. Why do you think what do you think I still deeply desire, and why? What do you think I still deeply desire, and why? All right. Those are good questions. Other stuff that you can talk about. All right. Instead of talking about the trauma, instead of re-traumatizing yourself over and over and over, asking questions that you can't accept the answers to. If you're in the first like couple of stages, if you're in the devastation phase after this, which is just, you just found out and you're boneless on the floor, and then that regulation phase where you're trying to gather your marbles, you're trying to gather up your feelings and collect them and trying to be a sane person again. In those phases, you don't need this information. It's bad for you. And then the more you talk about a trauma in those phases, the more traumatized you are going to become. You've got to give it a little bit. I know that everybody says that you need to talk about things in order to get past them. And yes, to some extent that is true. But finding out terrible details about something that has already traumatized you is not the best course of action. And then consistently talking about something that has traumatized you is not going to help you very much. Okay. So, those are good things. Good things to know that you need to know as you are going about the healing path. You do not want to keep on asking terrible questions and you want to give yourself other things to talk about, other things to think about. Alrighty, let me see. Do I have any other questions? My family is being super loud all around me. They're in the kitchen and hallway. They're everywhere. All right, let's see. What else do I have? If I have any questions, you all let me know. Tell me if you need to ask me something. If you're like, hey, this is on my mind. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know how to deal with this. Let me know and I will answer all your questions, because I really do enjoy talking to you about this. I really enjoy getting you on the healing path, making it so that you don't feel like you have to be stuck anymore. You don't have to be stuck anymore. You can choose to love the person that you love and go right about your life together. You really can. Let's see. So this is like the third week since the trust issues challenge. And I have not been able to reach out to the people in the trust issues challenge. I am so sorry about that. I hurt myself last week in physical therapy when I was supposed to be contacting everybody this past weekend. I hurt myself on Friday in physical therapy. And so I couldn't reach out to everybody. I was laying down a lot. So I feel a little bit better now. I'm like able to stand up straight, but oh boy, I really did it to myself on Friday. So I have not gotten a chance to reach out to you. So if you did the trust issues challenge with me, make sure that you hook up with me. Come talk to me. Let me know what you need, because I got programs to suit you, girl. I got programs that are going to help you stay on that healing path. I'm going to be in your back pocket, helping you along, getting you to the next step. If you sign up for one of my programs, or if you get on one of your calls with me, I expected so many more from the actual challenge, but I got people that weren't in the challenge. So everybody that was in the challenge, come on, get on a phone call with me. I'm only doing them for a couple of more days, so you got a little bit of time to get on with me. I want to talk to you, okay? I want to chit chat with you, help you come up with a plan, help you get to the next stage. All right. Let's see. That's all. I think. All right. I had other questions. Who else did I have questions from? Let's see. This is the third week since the Trust Issues Challenge. So what I was going to talk about today is the third step of the healing formula, of the dreams formula. The first step in the formula is the decision. You have to make a decision. This is the person that's worth some work to you. This is the person that you really want to be with, you really want to love, and you are enticed to do the work because they are your person. All right. It's not just for any old body. Okay. Don't be out here trying to swing this with somebody that you don't feel extremely strong feelings about, because it's probably not going to work. All right. We need the one. We need the person that will expand your mind, that will make you feel like, you know what? He broke my rules, but I love him. And I'm just going to go ahead on and forgive him and move forward because this is the right person to be able to do that. But anybody else, don't worry about it. Don't try to do it. All right. Then there is the R, which is recognizing and overcoming that fear speech. You have to understand what that is. All of Somebody asked earlier today in the group what the difference between gut feeling and paranoia is. A lot of the time, that gut feeling is paranoia. All right, your gut feeling that is different from women's intuition. Your intuition is more of a quiet voice. It is peaceful. It is knowing. Okay. It is sure. It is not throwing you questions. It is not throwing you doubts. It is not saying things that don't make sense, like trying to make a connection to be suspicious about where there isn't really one. Your intuition is a knowing. It's not suspecting. When you are getting that gut feeling, when your gut is twisting and you are afraid, that is paranoia. That is anxiety. That is not your intuition activating. That is the fear activating. And we have to be very careful about that, because people tell people all the time, oh yeah, that's your gut feeling. That's your women's intuition. So that's got to be correct. But then you're assuming things based off of this feeling that may or may not be true. If this is a gut feeling, you're just having that paranoid reaction and you're having that anxiety reaction, that fear thought reaction, then you're going to be led down the wrong path. Your body is telling you something that is inaccurate because of the anxiety. All right. Your intuition is much quieter. It's much more still. If you are not paying really close attention, if you don't have like all of those thoughts screaming in your head, that's not intuition, okay? That's fear. If you have that very quiet voice underneath all of that, that is very short and guides you along the path, that's your intuition, all right? Your intuition is not afraid. All right. So if you are feeling afraid, if your heartbeat is pumping, if your stomach is in knot, that is not intuition. That is probably fear. That is probably anxiety. So we got to learn to listen to that, hear that fear speech within ourselves, and then hear it with other people and understand what it is, because other people will tell you things to try to keep you safe, just like just like your brain is trying to keep you safe. Other people will tell you that stuff too, and again, may not be the truth. All right. So then there is the third step of the dreams formula, which is evaluating the why. We need to know why this happened, right? And not for the reasons that you think it is. People think that they need to know the why because somehow, if I know the why, I could stop this from happening again. That should not be the goal. I know that it seems like that's a reasonable goal, right? It seems like it should be. It is not. What we are trying to do when we are evaluating the why, we are trying to gather up some compassion, some mercy, some grace for this person, to understand why they did this. Usually means to understand the pain that they were in. To understand why means to understand that this hurt person hurt me. Why was that? What was going on with that was the path. That was what they thought was a good idea in order to help the pain inside them. So that is where we need to focus our attention as far as evaluating the why. You want to know why, you need to be focused on trying to give compassion instead of trying to control a future situation that may or may not ever happen again. All right. Um, so three S's for the problems, for the evaluation of the why. Sick, could be sick. All right. People have illnesses that make them do things that they shouldn't be doing. I have seen it countless times. I worked in the hospital for a long time. I remember how many people would end up having sex with people that they were not supposed to be having sex with because they had a near death experience, because they had some serious critical injury that happened to them. They felt I don't know if it's like a celebration of life. I don't know exactly what it is, but when people are sick, they do things that are out of their character. All right. So that includes lots of things. That includes physical illness, that is mental illness like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety. All those things can cause it too. Um, Hormones. All right. Every single one of us has a hormone cycle, okay? Not just women. I know that they always say act like we're the only ones that ever have like PMS, but guys have PMS too. They have a moment in the month where their testosterone dips. And so they're a little bitchy. Have you ever seen that happen? Have you ever been with your honey and be like, why? You get a little bitchy. What's going on with that? It's his testosterone has dipped a little bit during the month. Happens every month. We all have those cycles. That is another thing that people can be affected by, and they don't even realize it. The same way that people are affected by that whole fall in love feeling thing, you get all wrapped up in that because it feels good because your hormones are pumping. Nobody tells you about what that is, then you just run along with it, feeling like, oh, it must be special to this person. This must be this person that created this feeling instead of, oh, it's just my body and my hormones creating this feeling. So there are lots of different things it could be as far as being sick. All right. Then there is an addiction. Addiction is another reason, another sickness. Addiction to sex, addiction to drugs, addiction to lots of different things could cause you to do things that you should not be doing. All right. Then there is sad. Sad is, you know, a loss of some kind. I have seen there's been a lot of loss going on. I've been talking to like my mom and a few other people that I know, and there's been some loss going on, my family and people that I'm close to. And, it's just one of those things that we have to deal with day to day. But not everybody deals with it well. And people handle grief in very strange ways at times. That is one of the reasons why I have seen people have sex in a funeral home, because life. I guess that's what the reason was. Grief makes you do some strange things. So when you have a loss of some kind, even a loss of your own self-image, your own self-esteem, even that much of a loss is a reason that people end up doing things wrong. All right. Then there is stupid. Stupid is not what you think it is. Stupid is all of the stupid things that we are told about how to be in a relationship and what we're supposed to be doing in a relationship, what is normal and what is not. A lot of men in particular are raised with the idea that they are supposed to cheat. They are supposed to have one woman and then get another one, because if you got one good one, well, why don't you get a second one? And, young guys, young teenagers are encouraged to have as much sex as they possibly can with as many women as they possibly can, just because, there's some really dumb things that we are taught about being in relationships when we are young, and we got to undo that conditioning. We've got to undo the knots that come with that. Things like, my mother cheated on my father, so I'm never going to be that guy. Or my mother or my father cheated on my mother, and that's the type of man that I think that I'm supposed to be. All sorts of dumb things. All right. So all three of those, the goal for finding out the why should not be, oh, so I can make this not happen again, because you do not have that power. You need to put that down. There is no reason for you to have that belief system going on. You don't control other people. You only control you. So if you find out what the why is, and it is something that you can feel some compassion for, okay, that's going to help you along the healing path. That is going to help you, remind you when you're in the throes of, well, why did he even do this to me? You're going to remember, oh yeah, because he was in pain. There was this pain, there was that pain, there was stuff going on in his head. And yes, that he didn't handle it the way he was supposed to handle it. But a lot of people don't handle pain the way that they're supposed to handle it. Okay. A lot of people don't. So you are trying to dig up as much compassion and as much mercy as you possibly can for the person that you love because of their pain. All right. All right, so let's see. I have questions. Let me know if you have questions. Absolutely post them. Put them in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all of you. All right, so Vivian gave me some good question. Her biggest question. She said, okay, first of all, how to trust again. Trust is like any other muscle in the body. You got to work it out. You got to do some repetitions with some weight. And the weight is your resistance to believing, your resistance to trusting. You are working out against that. All right. So you are just every day pumping iron against your own trust issues. Okay. You are looking at somebody and you're like, okay, am I choosing to trust right now? And examine that. Am I doing it right now? Am I choosing to trust or am I choosing to believe the worst? Am I sitting here plotting on getting his phone so that I can look through his phone when he gets up and he goes into the shower? Okay, well, I'm not being very trusting at the moment. What can I do differently? Okay, and I need to stop that plotting. I need to give him the phone, make sure that he doesn't leave it in front of me so that I am not tempted, I am not checking, I am not worried about it. Things like the GPS. Okay, you got the GPS on him. I understand that there are some safety reasons for having a GPS on. Okay, maybe, but it's very much like having a tracker on somebody, and I don't like that. I feel like that's kind of an invasion. I wouldn't want to be tracked. You may be okay with it, but I feel like tracking somebody seems a little stalkerish, just a little bit. So you can choose to, okay, I'm not going to go check the GPS. I am not going to sit there and analyze every move that he made on this little map in Google and figure out exactly where he was and why did he stop for 10 minutes here and what was going on there. All of that. Am I being trusting? No, I'm not being trusting. I'm being distrusting. I am looking for the worst. I'm looking for something bad to have happened. Well, if I am doing the opposite of that, then no, I'm not going to even check. I'm going to believe that he was where he said he was. If he did stop, he is stopping for a legitimate reason. He is not being untrustworthy. I am believing that. So it's constantly coming back and correcting your brain. When your brain is going on autopilot, like, I don't trust them. Here, let's go do this because we don't trust. To acknowledge that and then to not do it, okay? Then to do the exact opposite of what the fear and the anxiety and the pain are telling you to do. When you follow along with what the pain is telling you, you end up coming to arguments. You always do. You are believing the worst of somebody that you love in front of them. And if you do that, exactly the same way that you would feel if you was believing the worst of you in front of you, wouldn't you be kind of pissed? Yeah, then you were going to get into an argument. So we don't need that. We just need to be mindful of the times that we are not in a trusting frame of mind and then choose to do the trusting thing. All right, does that make sense? Hope that makes sense to you, Vivian. Then he gave me a second question. And anybody can pop on in here if you have questions, you want to talk to me, let me know. Still got about 10 minutes left. So the second one Vivian gave me was, how do I rid myself of thoughts of him sexting them while he's on top of me? Oh, that's a hard one right there. Well, first, the way you worded that, if it's when he's just on top of you, let's switch positions. Let's go ahead and get you on top, okay? If that's like a factor in it. If you were more active, you would not be thinking as much. What is happening is you are being pulled out of your body and into your brain when this is happening. So a very simple way to start to combat that is to do your deep breathing in the middle of the sex. And honestly, it's not bad to do your deep breathing in the middle of sex anyway, because it will help you to get to orgasm. When you are holding your breath and tight, then it's very hard to get there. But if you are filling up your lungs and exhaling luxuriously, you are fully in your body and you are feeding your body oxygen so that you can actually get to that pleasure place. So that's the first thing, is just remembering to breathe. Bring yourself out of your head. Recognize that you're in your head when you're doing it, when you're like, oh, and was he doing this with her? He had her leg up like this. Was he in this position? Was he sweating? Was he doing this, that, and the third? Okay, that means I need to pull myself back into my body. You need some extra sensation. Have him do something else. Have him put his hands on you. Have him caress you. Have him pull your hair. Something to give you more physical stimulation instead of being stuck in your brain. So you're doing your part with the breathing. That's going to bring you back into your body. It's going to have you thinking about your body and his body instead of his body in somebody else's body. And then if he is giving more stimulation, kissing you, nibbling on your ear, doing all of the things that bring you back into your body, then you're going to be more focused on the moments, the intimacy that you are sharing instead of being in your head and not being in your body. That is dissociating, okay? That is when you're there but you're not really there. That's dissociation. We need to like really work on that. We need to be present and we need to be mindful instead of just floating off into our brains and separating from our bodies. That's not a healthy way to be having sex, okay? So when you catch yourself doing it, bring yourself back with your slow deep breathing. Get him to touch you more, you touch him more. Give yourself more physical sensation. It's going to distract you from those thoughts, get you back into the moment, get you back into the fun stuff that you were doing, and focuses your body on the pleasure instead of that type of pain. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? All right, then we got one more question. Vivian said, "How to heal from the thought of situations I let pass in public encounters that, in fact, could have been because he was intimate with them." Well, the thing is, you don't know that. You don't know that. Let's start only doing things about things we are sure are true. You are thinking back into past situations and kicking yourself for things that you didn't do when you didn't know if they had actually had sex. You were thinking about, oh, well, I let this person pass, and that could have been somebody that they were having sex with. But if you don't have any evidence of that, then that is just your paranoia, okay? That is just your gut, your anxiety, your distrust, your fear talking. That's fear speech, okay? It is telling you that, oh, you were being so nice to her, and that was probably somebody he had her legs up over his shoulders. That's what your brain is thinking because it wants you to be protected. It wants you to back away from the situation. And so telling you awful things like that will make you back away. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're feeling like, oh, I'm stuck with that. And I keep on thinking about it because your brain keeps throwing it at you. It works. So it's working it. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to figure out, am I assuming facts not in evidence? Is that, I know I've watched plenty of court shows, plenty of television shows where we go to court, and we cannot just assume things just because we're afraid. You can't convict him with things that you're just afraid happen. You got to have some actual evidence in order to be able to convict him. But then that you got to go one step beyond that and recognize, I'm trying to convict him. That's the reality that you need to come to. I'm trying to convict him. I'm trying to make him be the bad guy. I'm trying to make him be a villain. I'm trying to make him be the agitator of this situation instead of just being another person, the person that I love. So we need to, assume the best of the person that you love. You are not stupid. You chose this person for a reason. I believe it. I do not think that you were just so blind and so dumb and so naive that you just picked somebody who was horrible and horrible to you for the hell of it. I don't think that you did that. I don't think you just did this for kicks, and you're just suffering for kicks. I don't think that you're doing that. I think what it is this is a person that matches you in some way. This is a person whose issues maybe match yours, and you are supposed to learn from this situation. You are not supposed to run from it. You are supposed to gather all the information that you possibly can and do better. Do better with your own reactions, and show them better too, so that they can do better the next time too. So, situations where, okay, it could have been that he was intimate with him. You can't assume that you know that. So just assume the best instead of assuming the worst. Does that make sense? I don't want you to go ahead and just believe the worst all of the time. You can choose to believe the best and say, okay, well, that encounter, that was a completely normal encounter. That was just a regular person, saw in public, waved, said hey, and we moved on about our lives. If it was somebody that he was intimate with, you will not know, so you might as well let it go. All right, does that make sense? Some things you just can't hold on to. a lot of the pain um, will only dissipate when you're willing to let it go. When you're like, okay, I understand that that I feel some kind of way about this, but there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. I cannot change it. I cannot change what has happened. I cannot change my reactions back in the past. There's nothing that I can do about it now, so I'm going to let it go. So that's what you got to do. You got to choose. You got to make that decision that you can't live in the past. You can't go back and fix it now. You can't go back and redo the encounter, whatever it was, with whoever it was. You can't go back and redo it now, so there's no need to hold on to it. You need to let it go. All right, does that make sense? You all let me know if I'm talking crazy. I always want you to let me know if you think that I'm talking crazy so I can explain myself a little bit better. I would like you all to understand what I'm saying, but if I'm making sense to you, give me some likes, give me some love. Tell me that I am making sense. Yes, Dasha, that makes sense to me. And I can believe the best of my person. I don't have to believe the worst of my person. I can focus on our own intimacy instead of focusing on what they have done. I want to be present. I want to be here. I want to be now. And I want you to be there. I want you to be in the present. I don't want you to be stuck in the past. They always say depression is stuck thinking about the past, and anxiety is being stuck thinking about the future. It is so much better if you are just here in the now, just here present for your life. Okay, that is what you need to be working on. If you want to be on the healing path, that is the key number one thing that you need to do, is be here now instead of being back then and struggling with something that you can't change. All that you can do right now is change how you react to it. All you can do is monitor your own reactions, be more realistic about how you take care of yourself, and move forward. There's nothing you can do about stopping it. You can't make it be different. You can't make it be anything more than what it was, anything more or less than what it was. It's just impossible. And there's no reason for you to try and stress yourself to do it. You can just live in the here and now, and that's okay. You don't have to go back and fix everything, and you don't have to anticipate every problem and try and fix it beforehand in order to be happy in life. The problems are going to come. Things are going to pop up. Things are going to stress you out. Things are going to cause strife in the relationship. That just is what it is. And that's all right. That is part of this thing we call life. It's part of being in a relationship with a whole nother human being on this planet. You learn to interact together. You learn to deal with the problems together. You learn sometimes that you can't deal with a problem with this particular person. That's okay too. Sometimes it's all right to just let a problem be. And a lot of times people don't realize that a lot of time when you let that problem go, just okay, we've discussed it, we can't see eye to eye on it, just let it go. A lot of the time one or the other person's perspective on it will change if you just give it a little bit of time. So, you know, every day it's a decision to make the decision towards your relationship. It's a work to deal with the paranoid, the fearful thoughts that are going through your brain, and the fearful things that people are saying to you. And it's a struggle to deal with the why. The damn, why did he do this? Why did this have to be my story? It has to be your story because you're going to have to tell it to somebody else. The same way that I am right now, that is what the end goal is. Remember, I told you the very beginning stages are the devastation phase where you're just a puddle on the floor. You got the regulation phase where you're collecting your marbles. You're trying to get your feelings together. The E is okay, devastation and regulation, then recreation phase where you are working on your relationship with your honey. You are building that new relationship again. The celebration phase is when you've accomplished that. You feel like you are at the point where you're pretty much past this. You may have a few triggers, but you are ready to celebrate that you are coming through to another chapter of your life. And then there's the inspiration phase. That is where I'm trying to get you. I want you to get there. The inspiration phase is when you can tell your story without crying and you can help somebody else. That is the reason, honestly, for all this pain is for you to be able to help somebody else. There is going to be a person that you are going to come across that you are going to be a godsend to them because your story is going to be a roadmap to how they fix their life. All right. How they fix their love, how they get to a different place and get to a happier place. Your story is going to be that roadmap for somebody else. And I want that to be understand that this happened for that. This happened for the reason of being an inspiration, being something, a bright shining light to somebody else who is all right. That's what this. We're gonna just keep on passing this along. Pass the light because it does not diminish the light to share it. It does not. So if you are getting better, just a couple down the healing path, you're back at somebody who was a month ago, 6 months ago. Tell them, hey, I'm a little further down the path. I see you. I see you're doing a good job. Just keep on coming. Doing that's exactly what I did. You'll get to this point eventually. You will feel better than you do now in a little while. Just keep on coming. I know you can do it because I did it. I know for sure that it's doable because I did it. That's exactly why I teach you all the way that I do. I've done it. I have absolutely done it. I know for certain that this is possible. I know that healing is absolutely a possibility. People will tell you that, oh, once a cheater, they're always a cheater. It wouldn't relationship would never be the same again. Yeah, your relationship shouldn't be the same again. Your relationship should always be changing, should always be growing, should always be more than it was last time. So there's no need to worry about, oh, well, we can't get back to the old days. We're not trying to go back to the old days. We're trying to go forward. Okay. We're trying to have new days. We're trying to have excellent, wonderful days in the future instead of trying to go backwards in time and change it to, I don't know, regular days. All the bad stuff just gets changed to regular days in the past. That's no fun. That's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you to grow and be the person that you were supposed to be. You need some challenges in your life, and this happens to be one of those challenges. Okay, I am here to help you with it, though. I am here because I want you to understand that you can absolutely get through it. You don't have to be alone anymore. You don't have to. So if you're within the sound of my voice, hit me up, message me, let me know what's going on with you. If you have not signed up for a free call with me, you got like 2 more days to do it, okay? Because I'm going to be moving on and doing some new stuff. I got some new stuff coming out. So I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch of one-to-one sessions. So get in on that right now while you can. And while the cost of my programs is still low, my foundations coaching program is $597. It is 16 Zoom meetings with me over a period of 60 days. All right. You get lots and lots of help. You get hand holding. You get walking through it with you. I am there. I am in the hole with you. We are doing the thing. All right. And then my tech support program, 45, 60, or 90 days. You can come join me and then you can text me whenever. You can chit chat with me all day if you'd like. I do not mind at all. You go ahead and hit me up. Let me know what's going on with you, and I will give you lots of answers, give you lots of support, give you a butt kicking if you need it. I will most definitely do that as well. Do not think that I don't. I will yell at you sometimes. I will call you if you're on my tech support program. Somebody who's on tech support, please let them know. But I will even call you sometimes if you're having a moment and I need to like get your attention and get you back down to earth. I will sometimes call and fuss at you too. I will give you just as many pep talks as I am fussing at you, but sometimes I'll call and fuss at you. Sometimes I will just give you that pep talk that you need and bring you back down to reality. I absolutely do want to work with you. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what's going on with you. I want to help you get down the healing path. So absolutely hit me up, message me. If you don't see a time that you can get in on my calendar, that's fine. I'll put it in the comments below so that you can get it. But if you don't see one a time in the next couple of days, let me know, and I can still work with you. I can figure out what time to get it. And again, you're going to be hearing from me if you did the challenge with me this past at the beginning of the month. If you did the challenge with me, I want to hear from you too. So I'm going to be reaching out to everybody who did the trust issues challenge. See how doing. The trust is coming along. I'm going to be working on that all this weekend. So good things are coming. I'm excited. I like to keep on working with all of you wonderful women who are just so full of love and so full of compassion. I absolutely love being able to do and being able to help women like you because honestly, we need more love. There needs to be more love out in the world, and I want to help promote it as much as I possibly can. And you, gracious lady, are so wonderful and loving that it's just overflowing even at your time of like greatest tragedy, greatest loss. You are still working towards love. I absolutely love that about you. I'm so proud of you. So I do want to help you with that. So if you got any questions, if you got any thoughts, comments, complaints, please feel free to answer everybody posts on this video. And if you need to talk to me, just message me, DM me Instagram, use me on Love Josh, and I will get back to you. All right, or you email me too, Keeping Doc. You can message me there too. I will talk to you. That you and should be and help you get that. All right, I think that's about it. I don't see any other comments. I think all she wrote. Motor. Nothing popped up while I was talking. All right. Nothing else. I guess that's about it. Let's. What information can I leave you with today? Let's see. Let's do a affirmation. Is going to be, fear and love cannot exist in the same love. All right. Can we get with that? Can we get that affirmation? Cannot exist. Space. Two totally different frequencies. All right. Think everything in this is on its own. Say, fear is not the same as love. Okay, it's not on the same level. So if you are filled with fear, you cannot be filled with love. So we need to focus on that. We need to be focused on the love vibe. So fear and love cannot exist in the same space. Today I choose love. Whatever that looks like for you today, choose it. All right. Okay, y'all. I guess that's about it for right now. I will see you again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the and message me if you need me. And I'm to tell you more about getting on the healing path after infidelity next week. All right, I think that's it. I will talk to you again next week. Bye. Have a good week. Have a good week.